my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Land Stories Live. I am your host, Dave Deniston of Generation Family Properties, LLC, where our goal is to help hundreds of people like you own land. And most of all, we would love to tell your land story. Well, today, my friends, I am flying solo once again. And we know what that means. We got a bad dad joke for you. It's a long one, actually. So I hope you love it. Now, not only that, we're going to tell some jokes. We're going to continue our series about the largest landholders in America. And today we are going to cover the fifth largest landholder today. Now, also, our featured property is this brand new property in Yavapai County. It's so new, I don't even have pictures of it quite yet. But nonetheless, I hope you're doing okay. I hope your family is healthy and doing well and hanging in there with all the craziness in the world. I hope this brings some enjoyment to you and a smile on your face as you move forward. All right, all that being out of the way. So let me tell you a story. There was a newbie balloonist. He was blown way off course and he was forced to land. Now, this balloonist, he was in a field close to a road, but he has no idea where the heck he is. So he sees a car coming down the road, and he hails it, waves out at the driver. Driver stops, gets out, and the balloonist says, "Howdy, can you tell me where I am?" "Yes, of course," says the driver. "You have just landed in your balloon, and with this wind, you have obviously been blown off course. You are in the top field on John Dawson's farm, 10 miles from Charlotte. Now, John will be plowing the field next week, and he's going to be sowing some wheat. And he says that there is a bull in the field. It is behind you and about to attack you." At that moment, the bull reaches the balloonist and tosses him over the fence. Luckily, the balloonist is unhurt. He gets up, dusts himself off, and says to the motorist, "I see, you're an appraiser." "Good grief," says the other man. "You're right. How did you know that?" "I employ appraisers," says the balloonist. "The information you gave me was detailed, precise, and accurate. Most of all, it was useless and arrived far too late to be of any help." So true of appraisers, right? If you ever have to deal with real estate, appraisers are not a lot of fun. Well, that being out of the way, my friends, have a little laugh, little joy, hopefully. Want to tell you about the fifth largest landholder in America. Halfway through the list here, the largest landholder in America, again, a person, a family I have never heard of in my life. I don't know about you, but as I go through this list, it's fascinating learning about these people that are kind of, in a lot of cases, under the radar billionaires. Now, this is a family, in this particular case, that focuses on land, and that's been their primary thing for a long time. The Reed family controls the Simpson Investment Company that was established back in 1890 and its spinoff, Green Diamond Resources. Now, this family owns a lot of acres, 1.37 million acres across California and Washington and Oregon. So they're a West Coast, a West Coast family. They were founded by Mark Reed, who's the patriarch of the family. Back in 1897, he was a failed logger. So he had tried to do logging on his own and just didn't make it, which is the case, I think, for a lot of our top people and a lot of business owners in general. You have to fail at some stuff. You have to get your teeth knocked in a few times, and then you get success. Now, in this case, after failing on his own as a logger, he was hired by Sol Simpson to manage the Simpson Logging Company. They owned a family store, the Simpsons did, in Shelton, Washington. He ended up marrying Simpson's daughter Irene in 1901. So he married up in the world. 5 years later, Mr. Simpson died and Reed assumed control of the company. Now, at that time, the company employed approximately 300 people working in 5 different camps. So it was a decent-sized company. And by 1914, almost a decade later, Reed had full control and transformed the company into a forest products company. So not only just logging, but doing forest products. In 1925, the company opened its first sawmill and entered into hemlock lumber manufacturing. So they kept on doing their thing, and then they bought more land overall. In 2014, the Reed family bought 600,000 acres. Oh, excuse me. Oh, a lot of yawns today. The Reed family purchased 600,000 acres of Oregon timberland, which then vaulted them into the top list of U.S. landowners. They estimate the family has a net worth of about $1.7 billion. So they moved from about 700,000 acres. They bought just 6 years ago another 600,000 acres, which really vaulted them into this. Now I was poking around on the internet, trying to find out about the companies and their histories, and just as Mr. Reed did back in the day, they've had some ups and downs over time. For the most part, they've tried different things. They've tried doors. They've tried different units, forestry, obviously, mills. They got into railroads, and they closed that back in 2015. So they've done a lot of different kinds of businesses, which I definitely would recommend as a business owner myself. As you look for inspiration of this, having multiple streams of income, having multiple businesses is an incredibly smart thing to do, because you never know what's going to work out. And so I highly recommend that kind of thinking as we try and apply this to ourselves. Green Diamond, if you go and look on their website, they really are, of course, still doing lumber. Excuse me again. A couple of interesting facts that they had there that I thought was interesting. They harvest less than 2% of their lands annually. And so if you think about that number, that means about every 50 years they are harvesting trees. So really long-term harvesting stuff. And certainly they have a lot of conservation and things like that going on. They say that they are protecting 51 fish and wildlife species. So definitely a company that's really trying at least to do some protection, but obviously they're in it for money too. In the case you've never heard of this business like me, you've never heard of them before, they have a few different divisions that maybe you have heard of. California Timberlands, Oregon Operations, Northwest Timberlands, and then the Green Diamond Management Company. One is in Corbel, California. One's in Klamath Falls, an area we know well. So they're headquartered there for their Oregon operations. And then in Shelton, Washington, which is really where the company started. And then finally, the management company themselves is actually in Georgia. So they're all over the country, kind of a big company. And now it's the 5th generation of the family that's in it. So I thought that was pretty cool learning about this family. I hope you did too. And now let's talk about our featured property. Now we are in a totally new area that we've never been in before with land. I have here on my map a map of Yavapai County. So this is in Arizona, the property we're going to be looking at today. If you take a look here, you can see Phoenix is just south of the county. Before in Mojave County, which is northwest of this, we've had land in Navajo County, which is over here to the east. Over here is Kokanee Coconino County, which is where Flagstaff is at. Flagstaff, Williams, Happy Jack is all around Coconino County. And then we've had land here in Navajo County. You've probably seen us having a few properties there out near Show Low and Snowflake and those areas. And this is a whole new county for us, a brand new adventure. You'll notice here a few important bigger cities. Prescott is right here. Beautiful area. You can see there's national forest on both sides of Prescott as you head up to Flagstaff. This particular property that we're talking about is up here on the very northern part of the county in Seligman. So in Seligman, you can see here on the left-hand side, there's some beautiful rock features out in this area. You're not too far from the Grand Canyon. Here's the Grand Canyon National Park. You can see not too far from Seligman. So very easy to get to, about the same distance to Prescott. You're close to old Route 66 and Interstate 40 here. So that's where Seligman is, what we're talking about today. We hope to be able in the future to get more properties out this way, although they are a lot more expensive as you get closer to Flagstaff, which I think you'll love how reasonable this particular property is. Here's where it's located. You can see, look at all the green, lots and lots of green around here. Here's our property right here, where our property is. You can see there's good road access over here. Again, look at all that green. You can see the streets stop over here, so you're not too far from BLM land, where no one has developed. You can see there's lots of road systems in and out and around this area. Not a whole lot of houses here. So not much in the way of electricity, but there is some in some places. Certainly you can use solar. We scroll out here a little bit further. You see how green this whole area is, just beautiful. There's Route 66, where we're looking at on our map, and there's Seligman. So if we want to see how far Seligman is away from the property, Seligman, you can see, is about 12 miles away, just 20 minutes. So easy to go fill up on supplies out here, which you can see there's definitely a good number of businesses and a roadkill cafe, a historic sheriff's house, some really cool stuff we'll take a look at here shortly. There's an airport, regional airport if you wanted to fly in. You can see here there's a cemetery, Interstate 40, there's 66 continuing. So certainly easy to get to this property. It's not too crazy. Let's take a look to see how far Prescott is away. So Prescott, you can see, is about 2 hours away. So not too far from Prescott. Phoenix, we're looking at about 4 hours, actually 3 hours. So you're only 3 hours away from Phoenix. Easy to get away out here. You want to go camping, do that kind of thing. A little more information on the property. You can see here we have all those times. So an hour and a half to get to Flagstaff, an hour to get to Kingman, 3 hours to Vegas, 3 hours to Phoenix. So right in between the two. Definitely a very reasonably priced property here. It's 1 acre in size in an area called Bridge Canyon Country Estates. There's no HOA here. Those of you that hate HOAs, could be a good one for you. There are a few county restrictions where you have to have at least, maximum square footage you could build here is 4,500. So you definitely can build on this property. You can have a mobile home. You can have a manufactured home, but not a mobile home on this particular property. You can camp here. You can camp in an RV or travel trailer up to 10 consecutive days, 3 times per year, with a minimum of 30 days in between. So let's say it's over the summertime. You want to escape from Phoenix or Vegas. And so you could come here for a week and a half, then you have to leave. So if it's June, you go back home for a little bit. You come back again 30 days later. You can stay for another week and a half and then come back, go back home again, and so on. So you can't camp on here full time like you can on those properties out in Yavapai, like in a property we were talking about last week online. That's not going to be on the podcast, in Cibola County, New Mexico. So there are some county restrictions that they have. You can see here, there's no utilities nearby, so you need to have septic or a well, solar, or generator. Here's a plat map of the property that you can see here. So you can see there's a bunch of properties around it. If you ever wanted help buying some of those adjacent properties, I'd be happy to try and help you do that. Again, you can see here, here's the road, great road access getting there. If you look, these photos here are not photos of the property. These are general area photos that we snagged from the internet. Most of these are pretty small. You can see that this is what it looks like. Lots of, I think these are pinyon trees and juniper trees. So you do have some green here. If you want to buy this property, we do have a discounted cash price of about $4,000, or if you want to do owner financing, $249 down and $99 a month are the minimums, which of course you can always do more. So great, easy property, only $99 a month, $249 down, $99 a month if you want to reserve it. A few other things that I thought were fun to check out. Here's an article about what to do in Seligman. So they have a Return to the 50s museum that's fun off of Route 66. They have a bunch of specialty shops. You can see kind of an Old West feel to the city here with some of the looks of the buildings. They have a motorporium, which is fun. They have a territorial jail that was back all the way back in 1860 that had some famous people. There's the Roadkill Cafe we were looking at, where they said, if you kill it, we grill it. So they serve specials such as deer delectables, bad break steak, fender tenders, catty grilled patty, splatter platter, a swirl of squirrel, big bagged stag, and highway hash. So tasty. There's some old school historic motels that have been renovated, and this is one of my favorites, the Grand Canyon Caverns. You can spend a night down here. So this is really fun. You can stay at this inn that's 220 feet underground. So it's really popular, really cool spot to do. We have another article that I'll link in the show notes on Prescott, because that's only an hour and a half away. Lots of beautiful parks and wineries around that area. So all of that is close. And of course, there's some old mining towns and ghost towns, and you got the Grand Canyon not too far away. A couple other natural or man-made stuff that's really cool in Yavapai County is Montezuma Castle. So that is a really cool national monument that right now is closed, but is an amazing place to visit. There's also Tuzigut National Monument, which is this beautiful area as well, which is really cool area to see. Again, closed right now with COVID, but definitely a place worth checking out. So again, my friends, brand new property here in Yavapai County, Arizona, up here on the north end near Seligman. Have any questions about it, definitely feel free to give me a holler at 775-234-2058. And I wish you and your family safety and health, and just know we are here to be a resource for you whenever possible. Wish you all the best. Take care. Bye-bye.